comment of the week goes to MK, aka Morgan. Thank you so much for your comment. I really like reading lost comments, and if you would like a shout out in a video, all you have to do is leave a comment. That could have been you. Hi everyone and welcome. Today I'm going to be using Prang Watercolors, which I've used before, but they've kind of been sitting at the bottom of my drawer for a while, so I decided to break them out. They are a 16 color set and they're semi-moist, which means you don't need a lot of water to activate them. They're pretty easy to activate and to lift once you have it on the paper. And I had no idea that they're also refillable. You can like pop the little pans out and purchase the colors that you need, which is super cool, especially for a more affordable watercolor like this one. It also comes with a neat little round brush, which I meant to use for this painting, but I kind of forgot about it and just ended up using one of my other watercolor brushes. I purchased these a few years ago and I think I paid $12 for them, which is a pretty good price for watercolors. And you can find these in Michael's, which I think is where I got them, and also I have a local art store here that carries them as well, alongside more premium watercolors. I think the colors that come in this set are pretty nice. I never felt like I was missing any particular color. Like I had everything that I needed right here. I think the only color that I didn't feel the need for was white, but I think that's true just for watercolors in general. I think these watercolors are pretty beginner friendly, and the point of entry is not that expensive either, which is also really neat. Since they're semi-moist, like I said, they're easy to activate and stuff, so you don't even have to use like a ton of water, or if you make a mistake on your page, you can just use a little water to kind of lift it up a little. The paints are also really creamy and bright. If you didn't tell me these were $12, I wouldn't know, except for maybe the packaging, because it does look like a student grade palette, but I don't care about the packaging, to be honest. In fact, I think it has character. I also appreciate the fact that the set is pretty compact. I have my Holbein watercolors in, I think it's a Maiden or Midden, I don't know how it's pronounced, palette, and sometimes it's not like a super bulky palette, but sometimes I'm like, yeah, maybe just a touch bigger than what I would like to use. I used to have a what was it called, Primer Marketing watercolor set, and it was very, very compact, even more compact than this Prang set, and I think that one had 12 colors. That's also a really good watercolor set. I think I purchased that one for $12 and I gave it away. Why did I give it away? I don't necessarily regret it because I gave it away to a friend who I think really appreciated it, but I do miss it sometimes, not gonna lie. And I don't feel the need to go out and buy more watercolors because I have enough. And like I said, I forgot I had this one, so what do I look like buying more? I need to use what I have. Anyways, I also thought it had enough mixing space for what I needed, and you know, if you wanted to, you definitely could get a separate palette to mix your colors on, but I didn't feel like I needed it. On to the drawing / painting itself. I've been watching a few tutorials just as I come across them on my Instagram or on YouTube or whatever. I saw one on how to structure the face, and so I've been like kind of practicing, not super strictly, like I don't have the tutorials pulled up as I'm working. I just kind of, whenever I'm drawing, kind of just remember whatever it is that I saw and try to apply it to my work. And I did that with this painting, and I really like how it turned out. I like how her face looks and things. And I've also been doing some sketches in my sketchbook, practicing some of the things that I learned, and just immediately I've seen like an improvement in how I draw faces, which is pretty neat. That's one of the things I want to work on in the next year. Not just the next year, because I'm technically starting now. I just really want to focus on all of the different things that I feel like I can improve in my work. Because for the longest time, I haven't really been like actively trying to get better. I've kind of just been, I guess, inching along, trucking along. Just as I see things, I apply them, see if I can apply them to my work, or try new things to see if I can improve my work. But I haven't really like actually sat down and like focused on improvement, and so that's something I would like to do moving forward so that I can become a better artist, you know. I think Peachtober is really what made me want to improve, because there were quite a few things I'm like, oh, I don't know how to draw this, and I want to know how to draw this so that, you know, I won't have to say, oh, I can't do that, especially when I have the capacity to learn how to do something. There are like a few art supplies I would like to apply that kind of thinking to as well, like coloring pencils. They have been the bane of my existence for the longest time. I only use them to like embellish stuff, which I did for this painting, but I would love to learn how to do an entire drawing with just coloring pencil. I would also like to learn some more color theory stuff. I know like some basic stuff, like I can mix some paints and stuff, but I would just like to learn different ways so that I can use color better in my work, because I do really like working with color, and I would like to become more confident, I guess, in my color choices, which is another thing that Peachtober kind of helped me with, is just learning to have a better eye for color and better eye for which colors I'm choosing for my pieces. But anyways, overall, I had a pretty chill and pretty fun time working on this piece. I think this is like my second, well, I think it's like my third drawing that I've done since my break. I took a little break after I completed Peachtober, and I'm like super excited to just like draw a bunch of stuff, which I think is also, like I said, why I have this desire to sit down and just learn a bunch of new stuff. But I had so much fun working on this piece, and it was also super fun to pull out this watercolor palette, and it's going to stay on my bookshelf with my most used art supplies. I'm not putting it back in the drawer because this is actually, like I said, a really good watercolor set, and I don't always want to pull out my Holbein. Sometimes I'm like, well, I'm just trying to play around in my sketchbook or something. I don't really want to pull out the expensive paints for it. So it is nice to have an option outside of my Holbeins. But anyways, this is how the drawing turned out. I hope you like it. Shout out to my patrons, Merriman Illustrations, Sosodonna55, and Kelsey. Thank you so much for being my patrons. I really appreciate you and everything that you do. Wow, oh my goodness. Speaking of Patreon, I finally launched physical rewards over there. You can now get a monthly print, so if that's something you're interested in, link to that is in the description, as well as my other social media links. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.